Recruiter here, the headless headhunter, to help review your resumes to get you ahead of your job search. The resume we have up first is for a data scientist. Now, data scientist roles have a lot of different qualifications, so I'm actually not going to be looking for all of these, usually about like 60% instead of 75%, because it's going to vary based on the industry. But this person said is in Australia, which admittedly I am a US-based recruiter, although I have gotten people jobs in Australia. So they're word that their contract is expiring and they're starting to apply for jobs, hoping to get something before it expires. You should be able to, although I don't know the job market in Australia's where. That seems very doable. Looking for mid-range roles with my experience. Please be brutal with the feedback. Okay, so no holds barred. I will be as brutal as possible. And let's check out what we need first. So for a data scientist, we are looking for your degree. They want to see that. Python, R, SQL. That is in almost every single one. You absolutely need Python and R. Sorry, Python or R and SQL. So SQL for sure, and then either Python or R. Then the industry. The industry is going to matter and change a lot of different qualifications based on if you're in healthcare, if you're in IT, if you're in tech, if you're in potato farming. It's all going to be a little bit different. Then, which almost everybody forgets, is explaining stuff to non-technical folks. Your job is to explain why the number go up and what mean when number go up. That is part of the job. So, influencing stakeholders, also huge. They want to see that you can influence them. They state the word influence because you do not have direct control, and instead of with great power comes great responsibility, it's with great responsibility comes very little actual power. So you have to convince them, which recruiters know very, very much. Cross-functional, good. Any of the clouds should work. Business analysis, Microsoft Office applications. It was in a lot of job descriptions. Modeling and business analytics, which I said twice for some reason. A bonus will be anything AI related. So AI, LLM, ML, NLP, Spark, Skibbity Learn, Pandas, NumPy, and Git. So, like I said, I'm only looking for about 60% because, again, this is in Australia and I'm a US-based recruiter, and data scientist roles are little bit loose on what they want, but these are the primary ones, so I should at least see some of these. So, let's see. Okay, this can be deleted. This can be deleted. Again, I don't really care about that. In addition, your formatting is slightly off. Something's a little off. Okay, what is off about this? Right, so the bullet points are a little small, which is not a huge deal. It's just for readability. But something is slightly off between this formatting, which is mine, which works really well for almost everything, and yours. And I'm not even sure what it is, but it's slightly off. In addition, at least in the US, even if you haven't graduated yet, this should still be above your bachelor's. That's not a huge deal. So, on to the actual bullet points. And I did a quick meter read of this, and I could not find enough. This was great. Using Python, Skibbity Learn, Pandas, NumPy, and R, great. I don't really care about tidyverse, but still, this is good. I like this first sentence. The problem is immediately after that, it kind of devolves. So, development implementation of statistical and Bayesian I don't know if I've never actually heard that before. Machine learning methods. I feel like this should be capitalized and this should be capitalized, but that's a grammar issue. ML, which is good to understand the factors leading to students engaged with STEM fields. So each of these bullet points needs to be each bullet point needs to be a single sentence. It can be a long sentence, it can be a run-on sentence, it can be a 3-line sentence, but this needs to be where the sentence ends. So, highlighting gender differences in pathways and providing evidence-based program for external stakeholders. So, again, this would be a good second bullet point, but it's still a little long. So, I would say use Python, and then in parentheses you can do like Skibbity Learn, Pandas, NumPy, R, and machine learning methods to provide evidence-based program designs for our external stakeholders. That is how I would rewrite that. And that would be pretty good, because I actually missed the stakeholders because this was so long, and the formatting was very slightly off. Again, it's not a major formatting issue, but... So, next one. Specific models involving Markov chain Monte Carlo. I don't think they're going to be asking for that. Across Bayesian networks to infer causality. Oh my gosh, within them. Structure, again, I don't think these are what they're looking for. GitHub, HPC, they may, and here's the thing. Out of again, I actually do like your first bullet point. Out of all of this, I actually only really care about AWS. Now, maybe it's different in Australia. Maybe this specific part of the industry, these would be a qualification, but I'm gonna hazard a guess as to no. Typically, this is, I don't think they're gonna ask for all of this. Used retrieval generation, again, I don't really care about RAG. In Python, which you already mentioned, so you don't need to mention it again in the same position. With OpenAI, that is good to create a literature review AI assistant. So here's my problem. I don't know what you do. I don't know what the... So is this all based on the STEM field thing? I don't know enough about it. You kind of need to tell me a little bit more. Data visualization... Python again. So here's a bit of the problem here is you have some of this. I think I only found about 30% of what I need. I don't see how you explain stuff to non-technical folk. I do see a little bit of influencing stakeholders, although it's possible they could miss that. But I don't see how you explain complex topics to non-technical folks. And in fact, if anything, this is extremely technical, and I don't find it. And I don't see anything I needed. You need to explain it to a fool. So think of me as a fool. I don't care. Sadly, we are the ones reviewing your resumes. And same with the manager. They may be foolish as well. So, also, do I see anything about models? I think I did. I saw one modeling technique. Okay, so we do have models. But then I don't understand the industry you're in either. So, I don't see your industry, which does matter. I think this is overly complicated and over-engineered. I think you're obviously a very smart person. But remember, the person reading your resume may only have a bachelor's or a high school diploma equivalent. And even then, it could be the manager too. I need you to write your resume for the lowest common denominator. Everybody says recruiters are idiots, but nobody writes it like we are. So put your money where your mouth is and write your resume like those mean comments say, because you need to write it like we're utter fools. And even if we're not, even if we're extremely technical, the fact is we only have 15 seconds. So 15 to 20 seconds to find it. So you need to simplify this and reduce the amount of overcomplicated language and double check for the qualifications, because I feel like you're adding a lot more. Again, there are a lot of qualifications for data scientists, but I don't think, like I said, this would be needed, which is the same thing, that Seaborn would be needed. Tableau, maybe, but yeah, so there's just, it's overly complicated, it's too technical, and something slightly off with the formatting. I don't know what it is. I just know that this looks a little different than this. And the justification on the left side is not a huge deal either. So fix a little bit of your formatting, but more importantly, make it easy to understand. The easier your resume is to understand, the better. So remember, if you call me an idiot, cool, write your resume like that. I don't care if you call me an idiot, as long as you write your resume like I am an utter fool, so that I can actually get you the job. So that's my goal. I want to get you hired. I don't take joy in declining people. I don't know if it seems like that, but I don't like declining people. It is one of the worst parts of my job. I hate it, but it is necessary to keep the job. So I hope this was at least useful to you. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the bell. Leave a comment below. You can call me a fool, whatever. I can argue in the comments. I'm always up for a debate. I'm good with that. Or ask any questions. And if you want to know where I get these qualifications, that's on my Twitch every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I live stream this stuff. You can ask me anything live. It starts at 11 a.m. PST and goes until I have to go do recruiting stuff. So that's all for this resume. Let's go to the next resume. Is a resume review of a cybersecurity engineer, specifically vulnerability assessment, penetration testing, which I could not find. So these are the normal cybersecurity qualifications. And before you bulk at absolutely all of those, I will say you don't need all of these. Normally you need 75% to move forward. Cybersecurity is going to require a ton of stuff, so you actually only need about like 50% of these. And usually it's more along the lines of one per bullet point. So with the exception of Python PowerShell, which you should have because that was in like almost every single one along with Bash, you're only going to really need one or two of these from each of these little bullet points up above. So don't panic. I I would like to try to see if I can do this in 20 seconds, although I will say I have less experience in cybersecurity. So I'm going to give you a little bit more than 20 seconds because cybersecurity is still a relatively good industry, and I believe the recruiters there would have more than 20 seconds to find it. They probably have about 30 to 40 seconds. So we're going to have double the time. So what we're going to need, and again, it's about one from each list, with the exception of the first one, is degree, Python, PowerShell, maybe SOC, that might be a bonus. CISSP, CISM, CEH, CompTI Cert, Protocol Systems, Methodologies, Firewalls, IDP, IDS, IPS, CIEM, Antivirus Software, Vulnerability Management, Cisco Power, Cisco Umbrella, Secure Client, Cisco XDR, SOC2, PCI, DSS, NIST, CIS, and ISO, WAN, LAN, Active Directory, Windows, Mac, OS, Android, and explaining complex topics to non-technical stakeholders. So again, we're going to try 40 seconds to find these. All right, red and blue team, don't know what that is, not relevant. Again, this is also for the US. I don't know, outside the US. So again, technical skill sections don't count. Malware, attack vectors, software vulnerabilities, kind of okay. Audits, no. ISO is good. Okay, and then again, we're going to do the next 20 seconds. So I was here and more 20 seconds. Because this gets 40 because that's what the industry's like. Linux, good. Endpoint security is okay. Nothing else. ML driven. I don't know if AI is as relevant, but it is pretty hot in the market. Nothing. Threat detection. Nothing. Docker, AWS is cloud. One of them? I don't think it is. Real-time system monitoring. No. So this would definitely not pass. Mainly because I only found like 2-3 things. So I found ISO, which was good. I found vulnerabilities, which was good. But I didn't find anything else. And then I think if I scrolled a little bit further down, I saw something, the SIEM, but they're probably not going to go all the way down to here. So first off, your formatting is awful. You need to fix it. The worse your formatting, the less time we have to read it. And as you can see, that distinctly matters because I did not have enough time to get to one of the qualifications that is right down there. So you want it to look like this. I understand this is for a cashier, but your resume is going to be the same. I don't care if you're a software engineer. I don't care if you're a cashier or an accountant or a cybersecurity engineer or a marketing intern or a marketer. You want this format. This is the format that works. Boring and basic works. So you also need to not bold anything here. Keep this into one line. This can be deleted. This can be deleted. Again, skills sections with nothing else don't matter. I also don't see any of your certs. Oh, they're already at the bottom. Are these certs what I'd be looking for? I don't think people can see them at home. It looks like no. I don't think you have any of the certs I'd be looking for. But again, my lack of experience in cybersecurity may be part of the reason why one of those is needed or not. So, but your certs should also be up here. So this is your education and cert section. Your education should be here, then your certs, or your certs and then your education. And then nothing here should be bolded. And then you actually have room to put what I need. So again, it doesn't have to be one space. There's a myth of like, oh, resumes need to be one space. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's a page. If it's 2 pages, it's 3 pages. What's most important is I find what I need in this half. And I did not find what I needed in this half. So again, I ran out of time before I got to this one. So you need more of these. And again, you don't need all of them, but you do need more. And you also need to fix the formatting. Because this is a case where this is a very, 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 I would say like acronym heavy resume that has a lot of skills that you need to show. So you really need to be very clear and concise. So fix all of that stuff. Add some of this stuff. Because remember, doesn't count. Skill sections don't count. Everyone's like, it's in the skill sections don't count. You have to tell me how you did it and the reason and result you did it. Skill sections don't count. Nor does writing it out down here. Everybody tries to do some kind of weird trick when it's just like, just tell me what you did and how you did it. You have to tell me how you did it and the reason or result of you doing it. So fixing the formatting, adding some of these should definitely improve your chances, at least in the US. I don't know about the job market in Mumbai. And I will say that if you are on a visa, it will probably hurt your chances of in the US a bit, just because I don't know. A lot of the security roles typically go to people that can do security clearances, but that's it. There should be some other roles, hopefully. So that's all I can do for this one. Let's go to the next resume. This is a resume of a... Don't do this. Don't put your picture, by the way. Don't do that. I don't think that's a real one. I think that's a stock photo but yeah, don't put your picture up. But this is a resume of a site reliability engineer, which admittedly, I don't think I've ever directly recruited for. I might have done it once a long time ago, but if so, I don't remember. So I had to look these qualifications up, and they were mostly the same. These were basically what we're going to be looking for in the U.S. at least. Remember, I am a U.S.-based recruiter. The markets outside of the U.S. are much different, and in my advice, while it can translate, it's not always going to. So, containerization, distributed system, microservices, container orchestration tools like Kubernetes, Azure, CI/CD, cloud infrastructure, AI, Bash, coding language. So any coding language. In this case, it doesn't matter if it's Java or Python or TypeScript or whatever. Just as long as you have a coding language, it seems to be good. But they did want... AI was a benefit to have some. DevOps was big. I don't know why, but they like seeing DevOps. Everybody likes seeing DevOps. Word, Excel, and Teams were in a few of them. Yes, I am aware of why you're yelling at me, but they were in the job description, and if they're in the job description, they're a requirement, along with SharePoint, Project, and PowerPoint. So, this person is looking for SRE positions in product-based companies, but they're not getting many calls, and would like to know if it's because of your resume. Well, first off, don't put your picture. Please don't. Please don't. Don't do that. Your resume should look like this. It is boring and basic for a reason. It should look like this for a reason. Make it look like that. Second, this doesn't matter. I don't care about this. And by that I mean it's not relevant to deciding if you meet the minimum qualifications. So this can be safely deleted unless you are relocating, you are changing industries, or you have a visa you need to explain. Otherwise, you don't want a summary. Second, skill sections, also not needed. I need to see how you did them and the reason or result, which is why they don't count. So let me see if I can at least maybe find this in the 20 seconds. I'll do a mini meter yeet. So, all right, again, there's nothing here. This doesn't count. Okay, I don't know what observability is. Prometheus and Grafana, I don't know what that is. App Dynamics, PowerShell I'm actually looking for. Updated the Azure I am, PowerShell, and CI/CD is good. But Grafana, App Dynamics, and nothing else. So, again, realistically, I don't think they're going to get farther than here. Because they're going to just skip this part because it doesn't really matter. But I saw one or two things like Azure and CI/CD, but there's a lot of junk here. Like, I don't think I'm going to need App Dynamics. I would need PowerShell. I don't know what Prometheus and Grafana is. I don't know. I don't know what an observability engineer is. I'm hiring for a site reliability engineer. I don't know what an observability engineer is. That's not a role that I'm hiring for. You don't have to change your job title here, but you just don't have it here. And I don't know what you do. I don't know what this is, and I don't know what you do for this. Again, I have not recruited for this, but it's very possible that the person who is recruiting for this internally did not get any more information than that. That has actually happened once or twice. Yeah, and it's all about App Dynamics and APM, nothing. So yeah, and your education should also be at the top. So yeah, along with your certificates. I don't know if those are relevant certificates, but whatever. So yeah, the problem is your resume is basically blank because remember, this doesn't count. I don't see where you used Kubernetes. You can't just say Kubernetes is a skill. You have to show me how you used it and the reason and result of using it. And I didn't see it. I did see Azure, I did see CI/CD, and that was good, but they're so far down, they're probably not even going to get there. I gave you more than 20 seconds, and I'm pretty sure the actual recruiter is only going to have 20 seconds. And despite what it may seem, I am, in fact, a tech recruiter. I know tech, shockingly. I can't code, but I have increased the amount of hires. I have made them faster, higher quality, and broken records in tech recruiting. That is my one of my many specialties. This is actually very good tech recruiter right here. You are looking at them. And I don't know what this is. Again, I haven't done this particular one, but there's too far down. So make it simpler, use a basic format, and look at the jobs you're applying for. Like, really look. Are they all saying Grafana and Prometheus? Are they saying end-to-end observability? Are they saying cross-cloud platforms? They actually might say cross-cloud platforms. Are they saying configured APM and AIOP tools? They might not be. You need to look at the actual qualifications. So That's all I can do for this one. Let's go to the next resume. This is the resume of a Python/C# developer, which honestly, you really want to pick a stack. The difference between C and Python and whatever version of C you're going to do is going to be very different. So you absolutely need to break this into 2 resumes already. In addition, you have a 150-to-1 ratio, which is awful. Very, very bad. Obviously, we want to bring that down to at least 50, but you're also looking for remote, so that's even harder. So what I'm looking for in a Python software engineer, and Python specifically, is Python, SQL, any type of SQL. It really doesn't matter. I don't know why that is, but it is. Docker, Kubernetes, Django, Cloud, and its words. So again, if it was like AWS, you'd want like EC2, but you still need to put in AWS. You can't just put in like the libraries or whatever it is it's called. You have to do the thing itself. RESTful APIs, Agile, Git, and CI/CD. Bonus points for a little bit of full stack. And remember, this is bonus points, so you need the other stuff first, and then you can have the full stack. So, computer science information professional, blah, 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 blah. Doesn't matter. That can be deleted. I have nothing here that I need. Okay, nothing there matters. So, let's do a quick 20 seconds. Also, this person may or may not have doxed themselves up at the top. Actually, wait, yeah, that is a more important thing. I don't know if they removed it for the stream, which is fine. You know, obviously don't dox yourself, but I noticed the only thing missing was your phone number, and if you don't have your phone number, they're not going to call you in for an interview. You need your phone number and your email. If you don't have both of those, you probably will get rejected offhand. We need to be able to call you and email you. We need both. So if this person just removed it for the stream, good. They did the right thing. Don't give me that. I don't need that info. But if they're actually applying and they don't have their phone number that is dialable in the country you're applying to, that is almost a immediate rejection. Unless you're in a real competitive industry. And right now, software engineer is not it. If you're a nurse, you can get away with it. And even then, you might not be able to. So, this can be deleted. Let's start the clock and go. All right. Again, nothing here. Development of computer vision. I don't care about computer vision. Nothing. Cross-functional can be a benefit, even though I don't list it. It can be nice. Peanut butter. Okay, C. No. Okay, again, I'm looking for Python. You said you have to pick one. Nothing, nothing, nothing. Yeah, this resume has absolutely nothing in it. This is a practically blank page. Maybe there are 1 or 2 things for C, but there's nothing in here. Because remember, skills sections don't count. Look, this person listed it here. This doesn't count. Skills sections don't count. You have to put them in the bullet points. You are sending recruiters a nearly blank page of paper. Same with hiring managers. Now, maybe Raspberry Pi could be useful if you're doing specifically for, I assume, like Android or what, I don't know, whatever it's good for, because there might be a niche where that's useful, but for the vast majority of software engineering roles that are Python, this will get you immediately rejected. There's nothing here. Remember, oh, that's a hyperlink. Can't click that. You cannot just put it here. You have to put it here. You have to put it here. You have to put it here. If it's down here in this skills section, or if it's up here in the summary, it might as well not exist. I'm sorry. I know it's frustrating. I know it's uncomfortable, but you cannot have it without showing me how you did it and the reason and result of you doing it under a job, an internship, or a project. Those are your only options. So yes, there's no way you'd get a remote role with this resume. There's no way you'd get an on-site role with this resume. So your resume, even if it's for remote, you need like all of these things. So there's no way you're going to be able to do that, at least in the United States. Again, other places have very different markets. I don't know how those go outside that, but in the United States, this would not fly. You need to put this stuff in. There are reasons this is qualifications. There are also different qualifications for C, which I don't have because those roles vary greatly, so I don't actually have the C ones, but this is for Python. So yeah, you need to fix the formatting. In fact, you could delete this resume and start again. I don't think there's really anything here you need to save. This is a blank piece of paper that offers me nothing. So this is the previous one. All right, this is how you want it. Go to my website, okay? It's theheadlessheadhunter.org because I could not get .com. So headlessheadhunter.org. Go to the resume templating guide section. This is where you're going to go, the templates. That's where you're going to find it. Use these. It's free. I do not charge. There's no like paywall for it. I'm giving you the secret ticket to getting hired. Use that. So you're going to remake it into this, and then you're going to actually use these qualifications. Now, if you're going to do C, you're going to look at them. But nothing you have is what we're looking for. So that is why. It doesn't matter how impressive your projects are. It just matters that you meet the minimum qualifications. That's it. That's all it is. Zero. Zilch. That's it. So let's go to the next resume. This is a resume of a data engineer. So for data engineer, which is slightly updated, because I realized I should have updated the last list. This is the more accurate version, so apologies to that previous resume. Mostly the same. We're going to look for Python, ETL, ELT, Scala, data algorithms, SDLC, SQL, big data, Spark, cloud, warehousing. Actually, warehousing shouldn't be there, nor should Git. I wrote this poorly. So cloud, the ability to manage and communicate data, not warehouse, data plans. Oh my goodness. Plans, so data plans to non-technical people, and data lakes, data pipelines, data warehouses. Those are what we're going to be looking for. So this is the actual accurate list. Sorry, y'all. Been doing a lot today. All right, so this person has a awful ratio. They have 150 plus to 1, so that basically means it takes them over 150 jobs to get a single interview, which is obviously very bad. We do not like that. We want to aim for at a minimum 1 in 50, a minimum of 1 in 50. So let's see what the problem is and how we can fix it. So let's see if I can't find what I can in 20 seconds, which I'm fairly certain I'm not going to be able to, and then we're going to read what they say. All right, too much information. JS frameworks, don't care. Google Maps, that's not what I'm looking for. Response rates, Salesforce, cloud projects, what is this? Okay, so data lake medallions, which is, data lake is good, but the rest is not. Okay, so no. If I go down to here, if a recruiter goes down to here and can't find a single thing they want besides like one, in which case I did find data lake, they're not going to move you forward. So this person did state their old job titles don't match the role they're applying for. I just hope my masters and projects will make up for that. So first off, if that is the case, is that these do not have relevant experience, they just show that you have worked, which is okay to have, they need to be below the projects. The order of importance is work experience, then projects, and work experience, internships, and projects. But if the work experience and the internships are not related to what you do, they need to go before because it needs to still be relevant. So your project should be up above. Then let's talk about the formatting, which I don't want to because I hate this thing, looks awful. So this should be one line. I don't need your coursework. Everybody puts coursework. I don't need it. Honors first class with distinction. That's okay to put. But again, it should be one line. Again, it should look like this. Look at this. Look at this. This is beauty. This is perfection. There's a reason I harp on it, is when you look at 100 resumes in a row, you will cry with beauty when you see something this easy to read. This is a nightmare. Everything is bolded. Nothing is where I want it to be. My eyes bounce everywhere. And because, again, I only have 20 seconds, I have to move it away. So first off, this entire thing, A, should not be bolded. B, needs to go below your projects, which I can't even super scroll down. Then let's talk about the actual bullet points of the project. So structured a data lake. No, this isn't data lake. This is Delta Lake. Yeah, I don't care about Delta Lake. That's actually, so there's no experience. There's nothing here that is related to what I'm looking for. So my dyslexia came in and I thought that was data. That's Delta. That's not what we're looking for. I don't know what bronze, silver, gold is. And you want to know, I have hired data lake people before. I have hired data engineers before. They were having trouble filling this role until I came in. And I fixed it for them in, I think, about like a week or two, when it had already been open for like 4 or 5 months. It's a while ago, so I don't remember the exact, but they were struggling to fill it. So they came to me because they needed help, and I filled it. So, because again, I am actually good at my job. I know it seems like I'm just bad at reading, but while I may actually be bad at reading, I actually am good at my job, and I filled the data lake role. basically by doing this stuff, but with the hiring manager. And there's a lot of stuff that I don't know how to go into on a YouTube thing because that would take like 30 minutes. But so yeah, there's ETL. Oh, I missed it. I missed ETL because everything is bolded. So yeah, you can burn this resume and redo it. There's like nothing. Oh, here's SQL all the way at the bottom. So you need to redo this resume. This case, if the work history and internships is not related, they go below. So put it like this, put the projects up there, and then write them like this. I need to see used Python to create a potato ETL SQL algorithm in our data lake warehouse. Right? I don't care if that's nonsense. You need to write it in a way that is close to that. Obviously, make it make sense because the hiring manager is going to read it and they'll be like, don't lie to me. But that's how I want you to write it. It should just be like that simple. Be basic, be simple. That's all we're looking for. The advice to stand out is hurting people. You want to stand in. During the interview, you stand out. During the resume, you stand in. So that's all I can do for this resume. It's just there's like nothing here. There's absolutely nothing. And again, I missed SQL. Because, no, I missed ETL because it's all the way down here and it's not bolded, but everything is bolded, so nothing is. So, redo all of this, please. Look at my guide on my website. I swear it'll teach you how to do this much better. I think it's my magnum opus. It's helped so many people already. So, let's go to the next resume. This is a resume of a financial analyst, and oh my gosh, your font is horrible. Please do not make me have to squint to try to look over this. We look at resumes all day long. Our eyes are terrible. We are, in fact, have terrible eyes. Have your resume look like this. This is the font and formatting. Arial 10.5. Does it look ugly? Yes, but it doesn't matter how ugly your resume looks. It's what's on the inside of your resume that counts, i.e. the bullet points. So make it 10.5 Arial, please. Please do it. Your recruiter's eyes will thank you, and they can give you more time because that lets us read it easier. So, for a financial analyst, we are going to be looking for a degree, Microsoft Excel Advanced, so Brain did not work. Immediately stopped. This is at the end of like 4 hours of streaming. Pivot tables, VLOOKUPs, that kind of stuff. Then PowerPoint, ERP, SAP, Power BI, Tableau, cross-function. Again, this should be functional. I need to actually fix that. Let me do it now before I have it like the 8th time. Financial analyst. All right, so cross-functional. Multitask. We want deadlines. We want to make sure we meet it. And then a bonus for financial modeling, CFA, CMA, CPAs, senior management, and GAP. So that is what they're going to be looking for. This, I don't know if this is accurate or not. Maybe do you have any certs? Okay, I don't see any certs. So you are looking, I'm open to working in an accounting position as well. That would be a different resume. The qualifications for accounting is different than this. I can look it up for you and show it to you and post it in the comments below, but it's a different qualification. So I'm only judging this based on financial analyst. And you're not sure how to word it. So, but if this is true, you have a 1 in 25 ratio, which is really good. I don't know if that's accurate or not. You can let me know because sometimes people just put in whatever for the ratio, but like that's really important. I need to know that because different markets have different things. So let's see again if I can. I'm going to have to zoom in on this. This is literally hurting my eyes. So this is going to look terrible at formatting, but it's just so small. So, don't care. All right, direct daily business operations, accounting, project management, client relations. Accounting can be used. Development, implementing efficient internal tracking, cash flow. This reads like an okay accounting one, but I don't see anything for financial analyst. Yeah, this actually reads like an okay accounting one. You need Excel. I know every single engineer is insulting me about why X implies Y, but I didn't learn that from software engineering. I learned it from accountants. That's where I learned the benefits of putting Excel in. Before the accounting market was as hot as it was today, it was, I guess, mid to garbage. And I was hiring contracting accountants. And you know what got them the most interviews with the managers and got them jobs? It was putting Excel. The basic tools you use are your qualifications. You need to put those in. So this is kind of quick, but I don't see anything really here for financial analysts. Again, this might work for. Can I look at what? Let me look if I have the accounting qualifications up top. I don't think I've updated them in a bit. Technical account manager. No, that's not it. Yeah, I don't have them. Do I have Gap? Let me see. I'm going to try to find this. I should have Gap. Financial analyst. No. So yeah, I don't have them up top. This, from what I remember, does look like an okay one, but you need Excel. So remember, if you don't have these, they can't move you forward. That's all there is to it. Also, your education should be up at the top, and your formatting needs to be fixed. This stuff needs to be in here. So that's all I can do for this resume. I know it's really quick, but there's really nothing for me to look at. But thank you all for joining me. If you ever need more help, you can join my live stream every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 11 a.m. PST till whenever I get tired. And that is on twitch.tv/headlessheadhunter. That's where I get the qualifications. That's where I answer more questions, and I can do more in-depth in these YouTube videos, like interview tips and tricks and all that other good stuff. So thank you all for liking and commenting and subscribing. And I will see you in the next video to help you get ahead of your job search.